Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsockеtradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel.
All right, it is Coffee and time here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us this morning. My name's Joe Callahan, and this is Tim Draper right over there. Good morning to you there, Tim. Wait a minute. Okay, now say good morning.
Oh, good morning, everyone.
There you go. And John Ward's here. Hi, John.
Hello. He was trying to figure out what accent to go with this morning.
Unfortunately, Melissa Smith could not be joining us this morning. That's too bad.
Yeah,
so that's the way it goes.
She got a little vacation, doesn't she? Or
something with the kids.
Oh yeah,
I think you mentioned
college
thing,
and
things like that.
Well, Joe, you gotta go with the kids.
Yeah, well, you can't send them on their own. So okay. But the first segment of Coffee In is sponsored by the St. Antoine Communities. The ultimate in assisted living and excellence in nursing and rehabilitative nursing care is the St. Antoine Community in North Smithfield. Compassionate care is provided to the residents by their highly trained and experienced staff. Be sure to visit their website, saintantoine.net, and contact them for a virtual tour. The St. Antoine Community is proud to sponsor the North Smithfield Christmas Concert. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the St. Antoine Community of North Smithfield. They wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hey, why not? All right. All right. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240. And you, because I live in Mass, you've got a new bishop.
We do.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
We do.
That guy.
Bishop Bruce.
Is that his first name?
Yeah, Bruce Lewandowski.
Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Yep. From Baltimore.
Yeah.
Well, that's where he's from now. He's originally from Ohio.
Sounds like a character name in a movie.
The Big Lebowski.
Wasn't one of Trump's first term people?
Yeah,
that
Corey
Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew I had heard that name somewhere
any
before.
relation?
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
All right, so he's with the Diocese of Baltimore right now. He grew up in Ohio, from what I read, on a farm, and 57. He's a rather young.
He's a youngin'. He's younger than
guy.
I am.
He's younger than me too. You too, John.
Wow.
Just thought I'd bring that up. But okay.
Kid.
And he's fluent in Spanish.
Well,
I said
not a bad thing to
that'll
be.
be a help out in
I think
Providence.
he said Portuguese. He learned Spanish because he wanted to go be missionary in the Dominican Republic and down there.
He did. He went to the Caribbean.
He speaks Portuguese.
Not Spanish? Oh,
I think he does both.
Oh, okay.
He wanted to. The way I read the article is he wanted to learn Spanish, to go and do missionary work, and then
that'll help him.
Then he learned Portuguese too.
Okay, well, it's close. So all right.
No, I'm sure he has both probably.
Yep. So he'll be coming up soon, and best of luck to him.
May the 20th, I think the article said that he'll be.
In his new digs.
Interesting that it took as long as it did, but I guess it had a lot to do with the Pope being sick.
Pope was sick. He's not didn't want to make any decisions while he was in the hospital.
But I think that Henning was moved up to Boston like last year, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Before the Pope was really sick, so I don't think they had a backup plan for Providence.
There was an administrator that's running, keeping things moving. So
Bishop Kenny, I think.
Could be.
Or Monsignor Kenny.
Okay. So, but the new Pope will be coming relatively soon. All right, there was up here in the northern part of the state, two separate accidents happened. One happened out in Burrillville, and this happened Tuesday night. Investigators believe the driver initially lost control of his pickup truck, slammed into a utility pole, which snapped it in half. The pickup truck then rolled over into a resident's front yard before heavily damaging a storage container and crashing into a tree. The pickup truck wound up wrapped around the tree. It took several jaws of life.
Wow.
Not just one. To get the driver out of the vehicle, he was flown to Rhode Island Hospital to be treated for unspecified injuries. The exact cause of the crash remains unknown at this time, and they have not released the person's name just yet, but has not passed away, so that's good.
Let me see. You split a telephone pole in half, you go through a storage trailer,
and you wrap
it around trees.
You got some good speed.
Velocity had something.
That's got some good speed. And there was an accident yesterday on 295. I missed it by 5 minutes, I think, when I was driving in, and apparently there was a person going northbound in the southbound lane, which always amazes me. How in the world did you figure this out to even do it? And they're always intoxicated because he was arrested for intoxication. I said, you have to try to get on to the highway going in the wrong direction.
Right. Not really.
Well, you got to specifically, unless you go across the median.
No, I'll give you an example. If you've been down Menden Road to get to 295, and if you want to go onto the southbound lane, you take a turn when you hit the Planet Fitness turn where the plaza is there. You take a left there and you go that way. However, if you miss the median because you're drunk, you are now heading against the traffic on the ramp that will take you onto the southbound lane going in the wrong direction.
That is true.
And
all right.
you will easily find yourself
That's an easier
facing
one.
down people.
Yeah. Oops.
Of course, when you're doing it, there's now wrong way signs with red flashing lights around it
the wrong way.
as you do it. So you got to be really drunk.
But I'm always thinking, I'm looking at like, the 146 and 295. If you want to go the wrong way, you got to stop and basically do 180 degrees to get back onto the on ramp and then swing the wrong way. I'm like, it's impossible.
It has to have been
not that it's impossible.
It's
not
easy
ridiculous to do.
I would think it's not. He didn't get there by going highway to highway. He went there by going intersection.
And then
missing a median.
And then he was going the wrong way, crashed head onto another car, and so there was a mess on 295. It shut down 295 north between 146 and the rest area for a little while. And I missed seeing the crash by about 5 minutes. Saw all the flashing lights though, and all the rescue people and all the fire trucks were there. So
I'm guessing he did the opposite one, which is down near the Burger King. He missed the median, didn't get into the northbound lane. He got into the northbound lane heading south because he took a left, got onto the highway, and met up with traffic as he was getting past the rest area.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Well,
what
the
the
drivers
people would say.
Too.
Brilliant.
That's right.
What a maroon.
What a maroon. All right. Now, they had a little fun down there at the Providence Place Mall. Arrested 4 Venezuelan, what they think are gang members.
Yeah.
Part of a retail theft organization. Organized thieves.
Now, will they notify ICE? Probably not.
Well,
somebody should notify ICE, though.
ICE already knows about one of them. The 4th suspect, who they haven't gotten yet, is wanted for grand larceny in New York. And immigration officials are looking for him because he failed to appear for a removal from the United States hearing.
So, have they mentioned,
surprised.
are they documented or undocumented?
Of course they're on.
That's my first thought, but...
I think it's yeah.
Yeah, okay. Out. Goodbye.
But
you are the weakest link.
The
Goodbye.
problem with all these Venezuelans is, and the gang members know it, is they come here and they don't claim an immigration status of just trying to become a citizen. No, they're a refugee from a dictatorship.
Oppressed country, okay.
An oppressive country that they want to be free from, because if they commit the kind of crimes they commit in Venezuela, they'll probably be put to death.
Right.
So they come here where they will be coddled, given benefits, money, and be able to deal in drugs as they will.
And if they go to jail, they get 3 square meals a day, exercise, televisions.
The question I've always have, and I never get a good answer, is just because that's the way it is. If you're an illegal alien...
I'm no longer looking for votes, so I'll tell you exactly.
If you're an illegal alien that gets caught in this country, why do you get the same due process as the legal people that are already here? You're already illegal.
Because
you
if
get nothing.
If you read the Constitution, it does not say you have to be a citizen of this country to enjoy the benefits of its Constitution. All you have to do is be present.
Is that what the lawyers go on? Yeah.
That's it. If you're here, you are protected by our Constitution. And that is not common around the world.
No.
We're not the only one. There are some other countries that have constitutions that do that. But our Constitution specifically offers protections to every person who is. That's where you get.
Okay.
That's where you
That's
get
a better
the.
explanation.
That's where you get the moms who come here and deliver
deliver the baby,
and their kid's a citizen.
Right.
The Congress can write laws that would not be unconstitutional, because the 14th Amendment does have provisions for Congress to set guidelines around people coming in. And so they've written laws and made rules about how they don't allow for certain things to happen with moms coming into the country, like these tourist things, and they're trying to prevent that. But the trick is, literally, if you've got 1 foot in the country, you enjoy all the benefits of our United States Constitution.
Has any politician ever brought it up that we should amend the Constitution
all the time
to do that? not with the moms and the babies, but if you're an illegal alien, you don't get due process in this country under protection under the
You have to
Constitution.
change the basic constitution, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, if it's a basic constitutional right to due process by your presence here, the only thing they can do is create laws that would provide for you to create, or better yet, they would write a law that would create the due process specifically to those situations. So that, and that's what they have. Well, they give them these hearing notices that they have to show up in an immigration court sometimes later, but then they don't have enough judges to man these courts, and the cases go on and on and on. And trust me, the government knows it. And you know why the government knows it? Because we're not reproducing as many people and children as we have been in the past, and we need workers. We need laborers to do tasks. And they know it, and they just don't want to admit that they're going to let people keep coming in. Even under Trump, I guarantee you, there are still going to be ways for people to come into this country and do work. And there's nothing. What do you do when you have people who come in here on a work visa who are Mexicans and they go into the California Valley and they go harvest crops? You still need those people.
I agree. It's just, we heard the story last week or 2 weeks ago where, the plane load of the criminals, we're sending them back, and the judge says, "Oh no, they have to come back and set them free." I'm like, why are we setting free the criminals? No. It just makes no sense.
It does make no sense, and that's where Congress needs to write laws
where
you can be more. You can have a streamlined system for people, and who are known criminals, have convictions, and are here without illegally. I think that the problem is the judges' decisions sometimes are colored by the fact that there are just as many illegals here simply because they've let their visa expire, rather than renewing because their circumstances changed, that it's just an expired visa, which means they're now here illegally, and they're law-abiding, they have jobs, they have a social security number, all of those things. But they don't want them punished accidentally.
But like you said, John, if you go to another country and you cross into their borders illegally, some just grab you and throw you out.
Grab you up and put you in jail and throw you out of the country.
Process, right?
No, but that's their country. That's why you don't live there.
I understand. I get it.
That is why.
That's why I don't live there.
It's just, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Why don't we adopt that?
Go to London and have an announced meeting that you're going to talk about having somebody making a statement against a politician, and you'll probably end up in jail.
There
are places you just don't want to live these days. Memes, right? I would never, I used to think about visiting Ireland until I saw what Ireland has become.
Okay.
Now that it's been invaded, and I feel the same way about Great Britain.
I thought you could go to
the same way about France.
I thought you could go to Piccadilly Circus and stand on a soapbox and say whatever you want. Are those days over?
Those days are gone.
Really?
Gone.
Wow.
You talk the wrong way,
they come and grab you.
They will grab you up and they will throw you in a courtroom, and you could be punished.
I know things are getting bad in Great Britain like that. I didn't realize that it had come to that.
There are speech crimes in Great Britain now.
Sounds like 1984.
It is.
It's hate speech, right?
It is.
Wow. Okay.
There was a woman. All right, I'll give an example. I know they've set up a thing. As a matter of fact, if you read the call-in times. Oh yeah, that's right. It's coming. If you read the call-in times. There's, what's her name? Froma Harrop, who writes columns.
Okay.
Hers today is about that. No, it's not hers. It's the one in the left-hand column. And it talks about the immigration system. No, she does. She's the one. I'm sorry. And they have a zone of 200 meters around abortion clinics in Great Britain that you cannot protest inside of.
Okay.
And one woman who was arrested had a sign that simply said, if you would like to speak, I'm here to listen. And she was arrested because she was inside the 200 meters. And the point was, well, 200 meters isn't that unreasonable, so she should abide by the rules and put a sign outside that. There was another case where a woman was arrested because her home was within 200 meters of a clinic.
Yes.
And she was sitting at a chair at her window facing the street reading prayers.
Okay.
She was arrested.
And she was arrested.
That's all I have to say about that.
All right.
Wow.
Well, England's out of control then. All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. More coming your way. And this segment of the Coffee has been sponsored by the St. Antoine communities, who wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
The Coffee and panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON, AM, and FM.
All right, it is Coffee and this is Joe Callahan here with Tim Draper and John Ward. Melissa Smith could not be in today. And, we had this story came in yesterday, John, and it just makes you go, Because we don't you don't get enough information, and something's going on in Coventry.
Yeah, two council people
two of their
resigned.
town councilor members just resigned.
Yeah.
And all it says is they cited differences with the town solicitor and other members of the council.
Yeah.
Something else is going on.
There is, and I
it
actually watched an interview with one of the council members who resigned. And
would that be James LeBlanc or Scott Copley? Do you know?
I think it was Scott.
Okay.
The problem was that these two council people, were elected to office, and they asked for information about how much has been spent on this pond, Johnson's Pond down there.
Okay.
And
To what? Clean it up or?
apparently,
Eminent domain purchase.
Oh, okay.
apparently, the solicitor and the council president or something have told them,
None of your business?
gave them information that was redacted, and they said, no,
No, I want that real
I'm
information.
entitled to the
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
I'm a council person.
Yeah.
And they said, no, you're not.
You're not entitled to it.
Apparently.
Wow,
So they
okay.
basically said, as council people, these two council people were told they don't have the same standing as other council people, apparently.
Wow.
And it got kind of heated
Ugly.
and crazy, and they simply resigned rather than. The other part was the one that I saw the interview with was also a member of the Charter Review Commission, and they had a charter change because they used to, I guess, have an at-large council, maybe. And he had wanted them to have a change to 7 separate districts. And what they ended up, the council, before he got elected to it, put on the ballot was to have 5 districts and 2 at-large council.
Oh,
Just
okay.
kind of the way most towns
And
do it.
he kind of took strong objection to that. He thought it would be 7 districts, and it should be 7 districts. And
District 3 and District 5 are the ones that resigned, not the at-large people.
I just know that it's he's not happy. And if you've seen Pat Ford or heard him at the council meetings talk about issues, he's one of these that goes around the state doing interviews with people on these kinds of issues. And he runs a website called Coalition Radio. So if you go to Coalition Radio, the website, you can see the interview with this Coventry council person. It's
Okay.
not short; it's about a 45-minute interview, but it's rather shocking that a local governing body would treat its council member like that. sort of like I'm struggling with, because I asked some questions before I was off the council in December.
Never get answers, right?
And it's April, and I'm still waiting for the answers.
Well, okay, so you know what they're going through. So, all right.
I don't care. I want answers.
Well, okay. There's
I want the truth. You can't
handle the truth.
If it were hard questions, I may understand. They're not hard questions, except the questions I've asked, and maybe someday soon I'll be talking about them. The questions I've asked have pretty much, I think, exposed a completely broken system that is not properly accounting for things and is violating laws in its performance. And they discovered that when I asked my questions, and are reluctant to actually share the details with me because they're trying to fix it before they come out and say, yeah, we know there was a problem and we took care of it, as though somehow they made some discovery.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We took care of it.
We're all right.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
All right. In other news, there's an increased police presence at West Warwick High School. There was a social media rumor going around that there was going to be a threat of violence that was going to take place on Tuesday, April 8th. There was actually, the authorities looked into it. No credible threat was really found. But out of an abundance of caution, which is always our new new phrase to say, police and will have, to ease the concerns of students and staff, there'll be more police at West Warwick High School, at least for the rest of this week.
You know, many years ago, I remember a superintendent in Woonsocket where there was a message that came into the administration building that they found a note threatening, with a bomb threat, clearly written by a student at the middle school.
Because it was spelled wrong.
A bomb threat. The note was found in the stall in the bathroom, and the superintendent told them, ignore it.
Ooh.
It's a kid.
It's a kid.
Nothing's going to happen.
Well, when you spell bomb,
And they ignored
B-O-M,
it.
I mean, that's a real problem.
And nothing happened.
No, they called the police
Oh, they did?
after
Oh,
school
okay.
was out, and they
Okay.
said, would you just come check the building
Take a
and make
look.
sure there's nothing there.
All right.
They did not panic and throw everybody out of the school building.
The good old days.
Yikes, the good old days, right?
Yeah, we used to have that kind of stuff. All right.
There's a fire? Yeah, get the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, don't worry
Everybody
about
stay
it.
in class.
All right, Lincoln police are looking for an alleged arson suspect.
Speaking of fires.
Speaking of fires, an alleged arson, a warrant's out for this man's arrest. He's from Plainfield, Connecticut. His name's Jeffrey Bowden, and he's accused of setting fire to a car on Smith Street Monday night.
Tesla?
Doesn't say what kind of car it is. I wish it did. It just says it's following a dispute with the owner of the vehicle. Police say these two know each other, so there's no threat to the public. There's no danger to the public. But,
So they must know where to find him if he lives in Plainfield. They must have an address.
well, they should. So maybe he just
Probably.
hasn't gone back there yet. Now,
Oh.
he's charged with one count of fourth-degree arson. What is fourth degree? That's really low.
Is that low or is that high?
No, first degree is you plan it. Second degree, oops, it happened, but I'm responsible. It's kind of like setting a forest fire. But fourth, I'm not sure what fourth degree arson is.
Just threw a cigarette out into a puddle of gas under the car and it lit. Ooh, well.
And then, oops.
Yeah.
Well, they're looking to arrest him, so that's what Cranston police are looking for. All right, so that trial is going on down in North Kingstown.
With the naked fat
test.
testing?
Yeah, and that with the they're not kids anymore, but they were kids at the time. Keep coming back and testifying, and I'm still waiting because the former teacher down there, he is going to take the stand in his own defense. He said
I can't imagine what his defense is going to be.
was
Unless he's going to say,
basically, it was
this
doing for his
person
own
told
good.
me to do it.
No, I don't think that's it. Because I know they brought out like charts and Excel spreadsheets, and he goes, "See, I was keeping track of this for you, like he was doing a good thing." And they brought out whatever they measured the fat with, like the pinchers or whatever you call them.
Caliper?
Yeah, something like that. And then and then they wrote it down, and they asked the students, "Do you remember him bringing this out to write stuff out?" "Well, yes, I do."
Yeah.
But now it comes down to he said, she said kind of thing, because
The road to hell is often paved with good intentions.
Oh, can I quote you on that?
You can.
But now the students are saying, well, he was physically aroused, and he's saying, no, I wasn't. So now it's a yes, I was, no, I wasn't kind of thing going on.
And how do they know that?
The student?
Yeah.
Well, what was he wearing?
All right.
It is during phys ed class. Is he just wearing shorts? Maybe it was evident.
I don't know.
So I don't know. I wasn't there, so.
So many things running through my mind. One of which is that's the kind of data that you would collect possibly if you were thinking that 100% of those students had the real opportunity to improve their standing and become professionals in their sport, which is nothing to do with what's going on at a high school. And so what the hell do you even need it for?
Right.
Second thing is, if as many kids that went through the system having that done to them did over years,
like 20 years,
then it makes me wonder if we really did land on the moon. Because it's like a conspiracy that hundreds of people don't talk about.
Yeah.
It's almost like they'd have to do it intentionally, not talking about it. Nobody spoke to their parents about it. Nothing.
They just thought it was
Normal?
normal. This is what happens when you get to high school. And okay, I don't know. Now Linda Tebow was on yesterday, registered nurse, and she said, no, well, there are fat tests, but they're done by medical professionals.
Yeah.
Or
Not-
people certified
not-
to do it.
Not your
But
PE
I'm sorry.
teacher.
What is that? What has it got to do with a high school student athlete
Right.
that needs a fat test?
If you want to be in the, I don't know.
If you want to be a professional, you better start now.
If you want to get onto the basketball team, you need to, by my estimation, you should drop 6 pounds. You get 6 pounds of fat, get rid of that, and you can be on the team. I'm the PE coach, and that's what I've told you to do.
So the two people exactly the same weight. One has more fat content. The other has
Muscle.
more lean muscle.
So then-
the one with the lean muscle is okay, and this guy is brilliant enough to know the difference
Well,
based on taking their draws down.
And if
Yes.
that's the way it's supposed to be done, then why isn't every other coach in every other high school doing that?
maybe he thought of it first, and I'm keeping it to myself.
Sorry, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't either, and I'm not trying to defend what he was doing. I just think that's what he's going to come up with for
Probably.
a defense. This is why I was doing. I was trying to help. I was trying,
Only here to help.
and yeah, that's right. So I don't know. So, but it's going on, and that's.
I personally find him guilty of being a pervert.
But that's not. Is that a crime?
Yeah, if you're doing it,
you're
to other
touching
people in
people,
person.
Well, if you're doing that, I guess it is. So, all right. So, the Karen Reed trial goes on. They are now up to 12.
Jurors,
We've
and
got
they
12
4
jurors.
more.
They need 16.
I want to know where they found the caves that these people were living in.
Well, no, they've all
that
they've all
felt
said.
they could be objective.
Well, some have said. I think everyone has said. Have you heard of the case? Well, yeah. You know, like you said, I don't live in a cave. But then they ask, have you formed an opinion? Some have said no. Most have said yes. But then that's why it's taking so long to get down. But some have said, no, I haven't formed an opinion on it. They only know it peripherally. And so, okay, I can be a good juror because I don't know the circumstances of what's going on. So,
But if somebody
pick
asked me if I had heard of the case, sure I have, right?
I've heard
But
of it.
I don't. Have I formed an opinion? I guess based on public opinion, I formed an opinion. But I don't know based on the evidence whether my opinion would change or not.
Maybe I would make a good juror because I could sit there and say, I don't care. Just
that's-
give me the facts.
you
and
can't
I'll,
write that
Give me
down.
the
Make the
facts and
decision.
I'll issue a judgment.
You could be a good juror.
well, they can't. You
I
can't.
don't care.
You can't write that down on the little sheet of paper.
I don't care.
Right. There's. It's A,
I've
B,
never
C, or
been
D.
called to jury duty, so I don't know.
No. Well, this one they're actually handing out questionnaires. So I don't think there's a place to put "I don't care" on the questionnaire.
I don't give a-
And if you write it in, I think they'll just kick you off anyway. Melissa brought up last week about she thought it was Boston College and Tufts University that went over the $100,000 a year mark for
Yep,
school.
yep.
It was actually Wellesley College.
Well, okay.
But Boston College and Tufts and
They're
Brandeis,
not far behind, I'm
they're
sure.
not far behind.
Right.
They're about at 95.
Wow.
And that includes everything. So that's tuition, fees, room and board, and books.
Yep.
They're included everything in there. So but I bring it up because not only is Wellesley College over the $100,000 mark, they also have 100 unionized non-tenured faculty on strike.
Oh, jeez.
And you know what they want?
Raise.
More money.
It's stunning to me how there has to be people in these schools that are fully paying for college. They're just paying the freight to go, because not everybody's going to get scholarship and merit-based
you know who
aid
most
and
of
stuff
them
like that. Overseas.
Overseas students
yeah.
coming in on student visas that will expire after they're out of school.
Yeah,
And will
we
become
send them
illegal
back.
aliens.
Right.
So they want job. These are the non-tenured people. Okay, they want job security, they want to be paid more, and they want to work less. I love that.
Oh, I know.
They only want to.
I know some professors. I don't know how they could work less.
Okay. Well, they only want They only want to teach 4 courses, I guess, in a semester.
Yeah. You know how much
Anything more is
get.
just. Yeah. It's too taxing. I can't handle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's some.
I think we should all be college professors. It would be great.
You don't know how they work less.
You want less time? I don't know how they could work less.
Oh, all right. Very good.
One of my best friends is a professor at Stonehill.
So.
Yeah. And we kid around all the time. He went from working in the in the private sector, to working as a which is what he's always wanted to do. So always wanted to be a professor because he's that kind of person.
What's he teach?
Organizational behavior, human resources, stuff like that.
Business stuff. Okay.
Business stuff. I think he's got 4 classes a week that he teaches, and they're like, he can research. He uses his time to research.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to grade a lot of papers because he's got a lot of students. But even he will just sit back and sometimes just shake his head and go, "Wow,
of how much money
this is so much different."
Well,
he doesn't make a fortune. Certainly doesn't make as much as he made in the private sector.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
These professors, when they do these 4 classes, they still have to publish in order to remain professors and doctorates.
They do.
You got to write.
So you got to write stuff.
Okay.
You have to do research and things.
If you want tenure to be
it's
protected.
It's a horrible, horrible fate of actually having to put in time at home behind a keyboard.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Coffee and more coming your way. It's time for the forecast being brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. Today will be a sunny day with a high temperature near 46. West wind 9 to 13 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, low temperature around 27, west wind around 6 miles per hour. Thursday's weather, mostly sunny, high near 51 with a light wind. Thursday night, mostly cloudy. There is a slight chance of rain late Thursday night, low temperature around 36. Friday, mostly cloudy, high near 51. Saturday, cloudy with rain, high near 43 with a northeast wind. 14 miles per hour, wind gust as high as 25 miles per hour. Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, where we have sunny skies and 34 degrees. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org.
As we ease into spring, Barky the seal is still hibernating. We will hear from him later. But Lance at Interstate Seal Coating is wide awake and ready to install a new driveway for you this year. Lance will give you a free estimate on seal coating, crack filling, and parking lot striping. Interstate Seal Coating won a gold medal for Best Paving Asphalt Seal Coating in the Best of the Blackstone Valley contest. Call Lance at Interstate Seal Coating, 401-349-9360. 349-9360. Call today and he'll seal you tomorrow.
In a world where good food, friendly faces, and unforgettable memories collide, there's one place that stands out from the rest. Gators Pub is proudly celebrating 35 years of excellence in North Smithfield. Join us at Gators Pub, where every visit feels like coming home. Our secret to success? It's simple. Our super friendly staff and mouth-watering dishes prepared fresh daily by our talented chefs. Sink your teeth into our delectable lunch specials from Monday through Thursday and savor complimentary soup to warm your soul. Enjoy the game day excitement with multiple TVs showing the Boston Red Sox while indulging in classic appetizers like our famous potato skins and pita chips. Looking for a lively atmosphere to watch volleyball games? Look no further. Pair it with our juicy burgers or the latest cocktail creations to elevate your experience. Gators Pub, your ultimate destination for good times and great food. Come and celebrate with us at Gators Pub on Route 102, just a mile before Wright's Chicken Farm. Make every moment memorable at Gators Pub, where good friends and great flavors meet. Remember, there are no strangers at Gators Pub, just good friends you haven't met yet.
And it's Coffee and ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with John Ward and Tim Draper. And before we get to Tim's first message for Navigant Credit Union, we're going to call out another Radio Squares game card on game card number 1 and cross this off. And if it makes 5 in a row for you, you give us a call at 762-1240 so you can be part of the Super Trivia Championship coming up on Saturday, May 3rd. And we're calling out Navigant Credit Union.
Hey!
It's in the top row, and it's the third squares in right there. So if that makes 5 in a row for you, give us a call, 762-1240, so we can register you. Now, Tim, time for the first message from Navigant Credit Union.
Thank you, Joe. For all you out there who have small businesses here in the city, we want to encourage you to give our cash management team a call. We have a great new, it's not really new, we've had cash management services for a long time, but they're definitely enhanced. We brought in some expertise to really help us ramp up our cash management services, everything from merchant services to payroll to things like sweep accounts. And I know these are all big terms, but if you run a business, you're familiar with some of the challenges that you have in running the business versus taking care of your customers. So if you are looking for a partner out there who can help you manage your business and run your business from the financial aspect so that you can spend more time taking care of your customers and providing excellent service, we encourage you to give us a call, 233-4700. Brian Pereira is our VP of our cash management department, and he or somebody on his team would be happy to come out and talk to you.
All right there, Tim. Thank you very much. And remember, things could always be worse. We could all be in Fall River.
All right, before you go to Fall River,
okay,
let's go back to Lincoln for a moment.
Okay.
In Rhode Island, fourth-degree arson,
great,
as defined in Rhode Island General Laws 11-2-5, involves knowingly causing damage or destruction to another person's property exceeding $100 by means of fire or explosion, punishable by imprisonment for 1 to 3 years, a fine of $1,000 or both. So apparently it's not...
How's that different from first-degree arson?
It's a destruction of personal property by fire. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not so much a degree as much as a type of arson.
All right.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know how that's different than setting someone's house on fire.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it is the same as setting someone's house on fire.
Again, another law in Rhode Island that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well.
All right.
It's interesting. I did that in Google, and it managed to pick it up as a Rhode Island thing.
Okay.
So maybe it is like coffee milk.
All right. Well, like I said, we're not in Fall River, and I guess you can be happy about that because first of all, they had the Fall River cop that decided to meet up in Charlestown, Mass. I think he was going to meet a teenage girl. Turned out to be a Boston cop.
Yep.
And he was arrested for that. And now the Fall River City Council has decided not to offer a permanent contract to their interim police chief. And they voted last night, despite numerous city officers urging members to offer Kelly Furtado the job on a permanent basis. Instead, the council members voted to form a search committee to identify new chief candidates.
Will the current chief be allowed to participate in that search, I wonder? Are they just throwing caution out there and saying, hey, listen, we want to make sure that we've got the best candidate?
It just says identify new chief candidates. Yeah. So maybe this person will be part of it, but maybe not. Maybe I don't know what's going on down there. I don't know. Now their city human resources director. Does Woonsocket have a human resources director, John?
Personnel director, it's called.
All right. In Mass, I guess it's a human resources director. That person will meet with the mayor of Fall River, Paul Coogan, and they're going to determine, well, now what do we do?
Yeah.
How do we proceed from here? Someone's got to be the
So the mayor wanted them
in charge.
Wanted the chief to stay, but the city council didn't. Is that my understanding?
Well, it doesn't say what the mayor wants. It's just the city council decided no. They voted to form a search committee instead of giving it to Kelly Furtado.
So whose responsibility is the police chief? I always thought that was the mayor's choice. That's a mayor appointee.
It depends on each community how your charters are written and how the laws are written. But like in Woonsocket, the police chief now is done through a selection process, and it has to then to do a contract requires ratification by the council. So it's a choice of both, actually.
Yeah.
Some communities it is a choice of the mayor. Some communities it's a choice of the council.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Like when I was having this discussion with somebody about a finance director, where all the directors in Woonsocket serve at the pleasure of the mayor and appointments of the mayor. Council has nothing to say about it. Where a place like Lincoln, all the directors are appointments by the town administrator, subject to approval by the council. So the council doesn't choose the person, but the council has to support the person chosen by the administrator and says okay.
All right, and we did up in Mass. They did arrest a person talking about vandalizing Teslas. This has happened in Peabody, Massachusetts. A Saugus man, he's accused of vandalizing more than one at a dealership in Peabody. 28-year-old Grady Pierre poured paint on multiple Teslas in a parking lot at the Andover Street dealership. So he's not keying the cars. He's just making them look ugly, I guess.
If you do it in the lot, you're going to have cameras all over the lot. So you're not going to go
That's why they got them. Yeah.
Right. And then if you try to do it to an individual Tesla, we talked about this last week, there are cameras all over that car that with a flip of a button inside, which I'm sure all the owners now have done and activated.
Yeah.
It's recording everything that goes on around your vehicle when you get close.
Are the ones in the dealership, are they all on?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. Well, maybe they are. I mean, I would bet the dealers could go turn them on if they wanted to.
The value of the damage
But
done
that takes battery.
on all 12 vehicles, was it 12? Did I say 12? Just multiple, sorry. Okay. The damage done, $500,000. All right. He was arraigned yesterday on 12 counts. That's where I get the 12 from. 12 counts of vandalizing property. He's due back in Peabody District Court on May 20th.
I hope he's forced to pay that back.
How about go
attach
clean,
your pay?
Go clean it up.
No, but it doesn't matter. Then
Yeah,
you will
I love it. I
be
hope
in.
he spends years in jail.
Yes.
I really do. It's just these people are so pathetic.
Yeah.
That I mean, what do they think? Don't they even notice social media that
Well,
shows people with?
The only thing I can think of is if you do it, especially at a dealership, then no one's going to come buy them because they've been vandalized. So
They're morons.
Well, I know, but
Maroon.
they're maroon. That's right.
But I'm saying, before they do it, within the
Yeah.
last month.
Okay.
Now I have to imagine people with such low intelligence as people like that, who probably have no intelligence. Usually, they get all their information off of TikTok,
Probably
Twitter, or Facebook,
Yeah.
or Instagram, and
see
all
how-
you see in all of those platforms is people
Others
getting
doing it.
pictures, images from Tesla owners showing people keying their cars and damaging their car, and you think the morons would figure out, hey, if I do that,
I'll get caught too.
I'll get caught.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to do it. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
This is my protest.
Well, like my
Well, go protest with your 3 squares in a bed
the question I brought up yesterday
in a
is
cage.
how do they think this is really affecting Elon?
Well, this is an interesting case because if you're a marketing person, you look at what Elon did prior to January of this year, built his 2 companies, Tesla and SpaceX, into these revered. They were just, people were just like, oh my God, this guy is out there and he's helping the world. We're going to explore space, and
They adored him.
He is the new Steve Jobs, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And in literally 30 days, he has destroyed his entire brand.
Oh, he has.
Well, he hasn't destroyed it, but he's come close to damaging greatly everything that Tesla stood for. And it's the people who loved him and loved the cars because of the great stuff that it did for the environment now are mad at the people who bought those cars. I'm like, why are you mad at the people who bought the cars? They're doing exactly what you wanted them to do, you morons.
I hate to say it, but not only are they morons and hypocrites,
Hypocrites.
but they're stupid. Because if they pay attention to what Elon Musk is doing while he's busy in the White House and playing around with government operations, you read what his companies are working on, is that he is working on the hydrogen-fueled prototypes, and he is working on the next generation batteries that are substantially lighter and are going to make the whole thing better,
Right. Use
and
less
more
fossil-
cost-effective, and more usable by more people in electric cars, and he's going to come out a winner in 5 years.
Right.
And he's going to make...
Can you charge up the
He's going to be
battery?
the first trillionaire.
Can you charge up the battery faster?
Faster.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm
30
saying.
minutes?
Right. The reality is he's
it's
gonna-
a different battery technology he's working on, and I know he's working on hydrogen-fueled cars. There are hydrogen-fueled cars already out there.
Right.
It is what's going to be the future, and he's going to be right there at the cutting edge, and he's going to be making billions of dollars off of it.
Yep. What will happen is his service to the president will end at some point, right?
Soon.
Right.
And then he'll go back to the private sector where he'll shoot rockets off into
rockets.
space. He's got some problems there he's got to fix. And the people will just forget. They'll forget Elon Musk did what he did with Doge, and then he'll go, like you said, he's going to go back into making billions of dollars.
I think the key feature for Doge is we need proof and prosecutions.
Yeah.
Right.
Once you get proof and prosecutions, all the arguments fall away. And the other, of course, I'm not sure how long he's going to last playing this game because of what he did with Navarro yesterday, with the little tussle they had over tariffs. And Musk does not look kindly at tariffs. And Navarro, I guess, was having disagreement with him, and he made some rather, he compared Navarro to having the brains of a bag of bricks. And it's an inappropriate word, but he actually referred to him, I believe, as Peter Retardo.
Oh, jeez.
And he did it right on X.
No, he's taking
done with him at some point.
Yeah, and that's coming soon.
Yeah.
But I think you need to get more evidence, because I'm still hearing, Social Security people are saying, no, we don't have 120-year-old people on to getting a check. And he's saying, still, there's hundreds of millions of dollars going out every year to people who are over 100 years old. It's like, okay, somebody's right, somebody's wrong.
Right, show us.
Give me some documentary evidence of one or the other.
Right.
And they haven't done it yet, and they haven't thrown anybody's butt in jail, although they did find the guy in California, I guess, that's been arrested and is going to be prosecuted because he had stolen hundreds of Social Security numbers to I think, process them for either illegals or to do something else with them. Wow. And so there is corruption out there, and there are illegal things.
Well, not only is Fall River in trouble, what's going on down there. Remember, you could be in Boston as well, because we had the two guys in Coventry that resigned. Now we have an accused Boston City Councilor, Tanya Fernandez Anderson. She's agreed to plead guilty to federal charges and resign from office. She will plead guilty to 2 of the 6 federal corruption charges against her as part of an agreement with the prosecutors.
She'll get a CNC sentence.
Well, they're recommending she be sentenced to 1 year and a day.
That's all.
In prison as part of the deal.
Gee, that's better than Gordon Fox.
Fernandez Anderson was accused of arranging to receive kickbacks from a relative who was hired to work for the city.
They were birthday presents.
Is that a problem?
Well, they were birthday gifts.
Is that a problem? You know what's a problem? The governor has a problem in this state, just like that, similar to it.
Hiring his family?
One of his staff actually contacted people who sponsored a bid rigging legislation, which is designed to prevent bid rigging. And the reason that Peter Nerona could not prosecute the governor with the ILO deal was because there was no statute on the books that prevented him from doing bid rigging. Wow. So they couldn't prosecute him. So some members of the General Assembly introduced a bill to prevent bid rigging.
Yep.
And some genius from the governor's staff apparently contacted some sponsors and apparently implied, or maybe said directly, that there would be retaliation if they kept pursuing this. And of course the speaker's very upset, and the governor's going to go into a strong sense of denial, and they're looking to pass a bid rigging bill, which I'm sure now has a much greater chance of actually passing if the governor's office is objecting too strenuously, because as they say, I believe, sir, you object too much.
All right, we got to
object profusely.
All right, we got to take a break here in the Coffee and program, but more coming up. And Tim, it's time for a second message, please, from Navigant Credit Union.
Absolutely, it's a little cold out there today, folks, but the weather's going to break, and it's going to be nice, and you're going to go out in the backyard, and you're going to say, I'd love to put a pool out here and be ready for the summer. Or, you know what, I want a screen porch so I don't have to deal with all the mosquitoes that I have in my yard. So if you've got those sort of desires to upgrade your house and do some changes to your footprint, then give us a call at Navigate Credit Union. We have a variety of lending products that could help you and benefit you. Either our home equity loans, which are fixed rate, fixed terms, or our home equity line of credit, which allows you a little more flexibility to use some of the equity in your house as you need it versus having to just take it all in one big lump sum. So either way, you can go to the website, navigantcu.org, go to our lending center, and look at all the different equity options that we have for you. Very competitively priced, and certainly we can get them closed in for you in a real short period of time. So navigantcu.org, or if you want to go into the branch up at Park Square and see Christian and his team, or give us a call, 233-4700.
All right, Tim, thanks. And Coffee and continues here on ON.
Voted gold in ON Radio's Best of the Blackstone Valley in 3 different categories: Best Furniture Store, Best Outdoor Furniture, and Best Mattress Store is Coletta's Furniture. They have a lot of new collections that have just hit the showroom floor. Come and see Coletta's Furniture 2-floor, 25,000 square foot showroom packed with great deals and brand name merchandise. Recliners, couches, dinette sets, and of course bedroom furniture with mattresses are at Coletta's Furniture, and they offer delivery, no credit needed options, and 1-year finance options. Coletta's Furniture, 598 Wood Avenue, Woonsocket.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-230-2777, 800-230-2777, or biglou.com.
Transforming your house into a home is what they do at Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center. Kitchen trends for 2025 include big color, open shelving, mixed materials, hardware reimagined, keeping it green, and room to gather. Kevin and his crew at Cumberland Kitchen can show you the latest trends and possibly something you have not thought of. Visit CumberlandKitchen.com or stop into the showroom in the McDonald's Plaza on Mendon Road, Cumberland, just off Route 295. Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
All right, it is Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks, sir, for joining us. Joe Callahan along with Tim Draper and John Ward. Now, we talked earlier about the situation at the Providence Place Mall, and they've got their rules in place about unaccompanied minors can't
After
be
5.
there.
Yep.
Okay, well, same thing is now going on at a New Jersey movie theater, and they're banning unaccompanied minors from seeing a Minecraft movie, which I think is rated PG. Am I right on that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Why?
Well,
I don't care.
Following an unruly incident captured on a TikTok video. Now, Dave Rose, the owner of the Township Theater in Washington, New Jersey, says they didn't think anything of it when kids kept showing up by themselves all last week. Well, he said he later found out that there have been memes on TikTok that incite rowdy behavior based on things that the film's characters say. Rose says the kids, numbering around 75, threw stuff, jumped on seats, squirted ham cream all over the place, and destroyed a row of seats.
Has anybody ever heard of the Rocky Horror Picture Show? Isn't that exactly what they did during the performances of that?
Yes. Now, I went
toilet paper, shaving cream.
I went to many a viewing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show back in my college days.
Yeah.
We didn't destroy anything. Now, yes, we threw toilet paper. We threw toast.
Yeah.
We brought squirt guns.
Yeah.
So we could shoot each other, not the seats. We were going to sit in the seats, and then we got up and dance.
Yeah. All right.
It was a good time. But they're ruining things here. So, and we didn't jump up on the seats. No dancing on the seats. Dancing in the aisles. So,
Dancing
anyway,
on the ceiling. Is that a song?
Yes, they had to go. They had to go pick up the toast that ended up on the floor. So
that was your version of
I guess, and they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
No,
Why don't they have them arrested so that their parents can go to the police station
Well, here's
and tell
it.
them that their kids never do anything wrong?
Dave Rose, the owner,
don't think they did.
he says shockingly, some of the parents are defending their kids.
Of course. That's what we do these days.
Not my
Right.
little
Well,
Johnny.
my Johnny can't possibly
my
be
boy.
that way.
That's right. So
Well, we caught him with the squirt gun. No. Somebody must have put that in his hand and pulled the trigger for him. Yeah, that's what happened.
all right, so that's just what's going on down there, and that movie, by the way, did very well in the box office this past
Did it?
weekend. It's the new #1 movie.
I'm waiting
You need
for-
to know the video game of
I'm
which it's
waiting for the
based
people
on.
who do the Legos movies to do. Is that owned by Disney?
I don't think
Lego?
so. I don't think so.
I hope not, because I'd
Well,
love to see.
no.
I want to see them do the new Snow White.
In Lego?
In Lego version? Well, it's possible
because these Disney Snow White's not making any money.
I know.
Disney Springs has the huge Lego store.
Yeah, but that's just a...
And there's a big Lego dinosaur
just a
in there.
retail
Yeah, that's a retail... Yeah, that's a retail store.
Well, okay,
There's
maybe-
one in
maybe they
the
don't know.
Providence Place
Okay.
Mall. There's one up in Copley Place.
I would love to see the new Snow White in Lego.
In Lego.
I won't watch it the other way.
All right, out in Vegas, in Nevada, the sheriff's office of Nye County, NYE, which is where Vegas is, they've been investigating this veterinarian on alleged animal cruelty charges. Okay, and now he's missing.
The animals finally rose up.
Well,
It's like the Planet of the Apes.
No, a woman out there claimed that the veterinarian mistreated her horse. Authorities with multiple agencies are searching for the man.
Wilbur.
Using aerial, marine, and ground personnel. They don't think he was taken. They think he's hiding.
Oh, hiding in the barn.
Yeah.
The horses
If there's
kicked
a-
him to death and
there's
buried
a
him under the
missing-
hay.
You know.
There's a
It's
missing
around the
veterinarian. So, I
Wow.
don't know.
No, veterinarians better be careful.
Now things could be worse because you could be this woman.
Hello,
There's
Wilbur.
an 81-year-old woman from New York City. She says she's stranded in Puerto Rico. She can't get out
Swim.
because it's her air. The problem is the airline, and I don't know if it's
Well, JetBlue flies from there. That's the
but
problem.
it's Frontier.
Oh, well.
Okay. Frontier Airline won't let her fly.
Would they be the ones with the standing room only,
Yes, that's
Joe?
I can't wait for the.
That's a good joke. But they won't let her fly because she has her pet parrot, her emotional support animal.
Oh, good for them.
Frontier Airlines gave her the okay to fly to the island
With the parrot?
with the African gray parrot Plucky in a carrier. However, when she got to the Puerto Rico's main airport to return to JFK, a Frontier rep told her she had to lose the bird if she wanted to make the flight. Frontier admits that allowing the parrot on board was a mistake.
Well, to get
Coming
the
down.
woman
It
back
was.
and don't do it again. That's
Adding
crazy.
that they don't permit large birds in the cabin. Plucky is her emotional support animal.
Oh,
It says the two have really bonded after she lost her husband, an NYPD employee who died of 9/11 related cancer in 2019. Her son says he hasn't had any luck getting her and Plucky booked on another flight, even a charter flight. So they may have to take a boat.
Boat.
I wonder how much.
Boat.
There's got to be a ferry of some. Is there a ferry? I don't know if they even
Well,
call
bit
it a
of-
ferry. It's a
no,
long
little-
trek.
It's a long trip. It's
Yeah. Well, get on a
you
boat.
Need to get on a cruise line.
Yeah. All right.
But would the cruise line let her take Plucky?
I would think so. But you would think the Frontier airline would just say, "What did we do? Who allowed that?
Listen, if
did
they
we
made
really
the
allow
mistake
that
to let him,
okay,
yeah,
you can come
they should
back."
say, "Listen, you know what? We won't sell the front row here. You can sit there with your bird,
Yeah.
and then get home and don't ever do it again."
And pay
We'll
for a
never allow it
second
again.
seat for the bird.
For the
Right.
bird. Because I'm assuming an African gray parrot is rather, it's not a parakeet. It's a good sized,
Probably
they're-
it's a
they're
pretty.
big.
3-foot tall bird.
They're big. That's a cage that's probably
It's gonna be big.
2.5 feet tall.
So get it in a cage, and Frontier should really do that.
Yeah,
So, but they're fighting it right
Yeah,
now.
but frankly, they never should have let her on the first
Well, that's
one.
right. But we made the mistake, and this is how we're going to own up to it. All right. There's a petition going around in Nashville, and they want to rename Nashville International Airport the Dolly Parton Airport.
100% yes. I'm in for that.
Supporters of changing the name for Parton have gathered nearly 50,000 signatures. The petition organizers believe that that renaming the airport after Parton would be a fitting tribute to her impact on Tennessee and the world. A Fox television station reports the petition was created in response to a previous proposal to rename the airport after Donald Trump, which faced resistance
no.
and ultimately failed to move forward. So
Right.
I don't.
Dolly Parton's a
Gee,
much
how could
better
that
choice.
happen?
What's Trump got to do with Tennessee? I don't know what's going on there.
He's going to want to change Reagan to Trump International.
It would become
Maybe.
the best airport. Nobody would ever see anything quite like, done anything like it, I'm sure.
It's the best. It's the best
It would
airport
just be
ever.
fantastic
People tell me all the
airport.
time it's the best.
And
Gold-plated faucets in the bathroom.
then they should name airports after people that are still alive. Don't wait for them to die.
Well, they should enjoy it.
And I'm sure all the Tennesseans, they all love Dolly. So
do.
why not do that?
A lot of the country loves
look
Dolly
at the,
too.
Look at the admiration the under 20 crowd has for Theodore Francis Green.
No, it's huge. and Logan at airport.
Logan and Mayor LaGuardia
And LaGuardia. That's right. And who's O'Hare?
and Dulles.
In Dulles, yeah. I heard that somewhere. Every 20 years, you need to rename these things because no one knows who they were.
Frankly, I never was able to push it hard enough. But frankly, I am a firm believer that not only should you not name things after people who are alive, but if you're going to name something after somebody and their memory is that permanent, you should wait at least 10 years to make sure people still remember who they are and what they did and why you're going to dedicate something to their name.
So then you're against Dolly because she's still alive.
I am.
You know, the terminal
at
TF Green Airport is named after someone.
Well, someone.
You remember that? Okay,
yeah.
see?
But
memorable character.
But who remembers that?
You and I.
I mean, because it's going to come up on Jeopardy someday, and I'm going to have the answer.
Sunland and Terminal are words that go together.
Wow. All right, that'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in. Tim Draper, thanks for being here.
Joe, thanks for having me.
All right, and John Ward, thanks for coming in.
Please go out there and enjoy this brief interlude of winter that has returned with the polar vortex, and enjoy the God-given day.
All right, thanks, John. I'm Joe Callahan. Have yourself a great day, and stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do your members coming up in a few minutes on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio.